This original condition, 1964 Vespa two-stroke scooter, was a non-runner 2 years ago when I acquired it, after it had spent many neglected years in a barn in New Hampshire. The classic and curvy VBB model was one of the earlier manual shift Vespas that had a 4-speed 150cc single-cylinder motor and a welded sheet metal frame. These VBBs had the smaller 8-inch wheels that were more common on some Vespa designs even into the 1970s. This scooter was built in 1964 at the Piaggio factory in Pontedera, Italy, and then, soon after, sold new in New York City at a motorcycle dealership named Camrod Inc. on West 52nd Street. It had only 4,600 miles on the working odometer when I bought the dingy thing. The bike was complete, but not without some mechanical troubles and areas of rust in the frame's central tunnel, on the floorboards, and on the original split-rim wheels. It needed some TLC. In the hopes of keeping the original paint and most of the stock parts, I gave this Vespa a full preservation-focused rebuild, but I added some improvements to make it a little faster, a little louder, and a little safer in modern-day traffic. This slideshow depicts some of the work. This engine had a blown oil seal and was leaking two-stroke fuel into the gearbox oil. I decided to do a full rebuild with all new bearings, seals, gaskets, and O-rings. I would also replace worn internal parts like the shifting cross, original clutch cork plates, kickstart gear and rubber buffers, and the nasty old original asbestos brake shoes. Once dismantled, it was clear from the rough scoring on the cylinder and piston that a new top end would be beneficial. I ordered a new larger aftermarket cylinder kit, the Pinasco 177cc iron cylinder with piston and new rings. I replaced the Dell'Orto carburetor, boosting the size from the stock 17mm opening to 20mm, upsized the carb jets, and bought a Malossi Power Classic exhaust. Modern big box style mufflers outperform the restrictive little Piaggio exhausts, and they sound better and growlier too. Most everything else on the bike also was taken apart. The frame still had a nice patina of factory applied Max Meyer light blue paint. I treated some frame rust with a phosphoric acid product, repaired small holes in the floor with new metal, applied primer where needed, and matched up some blue paint for the underside. The body paint buffed out nicely with just rubbing compound and elbow grease. Finally, the whole frame got a good waxing. I replaced the original 6-volt electrical loom with a new replacement wiring harness and all control cables with new ones except for the speedo cable, which works perfectly. The fuel tank was cleaned and fuel tap replaced. The entire front end, including the fork and the axle, was rebuilt and new brake shoes installed. The stock wheels were cleaned up and waxed, and new Michelin S83 tires and tubes added. The headset got a rebuild and lubricated, and the headlight electrics restored. Same with the tail light and the brake switch. I bought a new classic Sprint style bench seat so we can ride comfortably 2 up. We kept a few of the vintage stickers on the frame to preserve its history, such as the early 60s dealer sticker and a later State of Vermont registration sticker from 1976. Upon reinstallation of the engine into the frame, I set the points ignition timing to correspond to the new Pinasco 177 cylinder kit. Then it was time for test rides to check for any faults or complications. After some clutch and cable readjustments, amidst the near 100-degree heat of July in New England, the scooter is now pretty well sorted. Of course, additional tinkering, or even frequent tinkering, always continues with classic Vespas. So now this racy but still original looking VBB runs, shifts, and stops even better than new.